The best Father's Day gift ryobi's ever made. I bought this today from Bunnings in Australia, because ryobi is an exclusive brand to Bunnings in Australia. And this, well, it looks kind of, doesn't do too much. It's actually a USB adapter. What that means is you can turn your lithium batteries, your 18 volt 1 plus ryobi batteries, into a USB power bank. And this thing is absolutely brilliant. I've been testing it all afternoon. I've done a calculation on this. It'll charge my phone, which is a Moto G4 Play, and this tablet, which is a Lenovo ThinkPad 8, at least 3 times between the pair of them. So 3 times. The battery on this is, this is one of their old ones. It's a 4 amp hour, so 72 watt hours. My phone is a 10 watt hour phone, based on the rating on the actual battery pack, and this is a 20 watt hour. So 20 and 10, so 30. Okay, I might be a little bit over ambitious on the 3 each sort of thing, but basically, if you take in conversion losses, the 72 watt hour here should charge my phone, which is a 10 watt hour, 6 times, no issues. And it'll charge this 3 times, start to finish, no issues. And the best thing is, it'll actually charge both at the same time, because it runs 2 USB ports. Now, one of these is rated 2 amp, one's rated 1 amp, but on Android this doesn't matter. Basically, all the 2 amp is, there's actually a the pair of them are actually bridged together, so the voltage converter inside this thing is identical in its output to the pair of these. All the 2 amp thing does is it has a resistor network that tells an iPad or an Apple iPhone that it can pull 2 amps. An Android phone doesn't care about that stuff. What an Android phone does is it'll actually start pulling power out of this. It'll ramp the current up until it sees a voltage drop, and then it basically holds it there and just leaves it alone. So if your phone wants to pull, let's say your phone could do 2 amps at 5 volt, it'll actually, the charge circuitry in the phone will actually ramp up. So as long as the 5 volt stays at 5 volt, it'll keep ramping up indefinitely until it hits that limit. If the voltage drops off below, I think it's 4.7, 4.8, it'll actually cap the charge current at that. So Android phones generally, well, Android phones based on the standard micro USB charging system will ramp up and pretty much find what the power supply can deliver versus what the power supply says it can deliver. It'll just keep going until it finds a limit. This comes down to your cables as well, so if you're using good quality cables, that'll allow a bit more before the voltage drop kicks in. Anyway, yeah, so I've been testing this today, and it is absolutely awesome. This is $30, 29 whatever cents, $29 and whatever cents, Australian from Bunnings. It'll output to 2 USB ports simultaneously. It's click on, click off with the button up here, so it doesn't rely on a load to keep it alive. Though it does have, according to the manual, it has an 8-hour cutoff, so it'll keep running for 8 hours until it goes, cuts the power off, and then you hit the button and it goes again. There is a couple of limitations with this. There's no light on this to let you know it's on. It'll just be on. While it's running, it won't trigger the power meter on your battery cells. This one's now sitting at 3. Now that's currently drawing power. So if I was to say get this pair of speakers and then plug the USB port into it, the USB cable into it, because I modded these for USB power, hit the button. Hold on, wrong cable, get rid of that one. Let's find the one for the speakers. That's the power, that's the sound, this one. So this one here, plug it in, and then it comes on. So you can plug and unplug this lead here all day, and it'll actually just stay continuously running for 8 hours or until you disconnect it from the battery pack. And once you disconnect it, let's see if I can do this with not enough hands. So disconnect it, plug it back in. Does not automatically turn on until you hit the button. Then it comes on. Now I can do this one here is actually into my phone right now, so I can actually do that into there. So now my phone itself's charging. I can then plug the 3.5mm cable into these speakers and then play sound. There's a couple of little caveats with this. This is a buck converter, not a boost converter. So instead of like a regular power bank taking 3.6 volt up to 5, this is taking an 18 volt voltage source and dropping it down to 5. What this generally means is it runs a lot more efficient. This will generally, well, with these speakers, these are a bit picky. If I'm running off a boost converter, a standard a single cell USB power bank, once the volume gets up past a certain point, it gets a bit. You start hearing the Class D amplifier in this glitching out. It comes through as sort of like a harsh pop or a harsh click. On the buck converter, which is in this, it runs fine. There is a little bit of a sort of a hissy sound sort of thing to it, which you'll hear if there's no audio playing back through it. But once you plug the sound source in, it's fine. ryobi kind of missed a little trick with this. I mean, it's a one-shot pony. This thing, you sit it on top of your battery pack. There's USB ports, sort of thing. What this I reckon this could do with is a USB receiver and a 3.5mm output jack. Though in saying that, not a lot of people are going to use this sort of thing in that kind of context, and ryobi do actually make a small single speaker radio type device that has a USB charge port for your phone and Bluetooth built in. So there's probably a reason for that, although this could, I reckon, be easily converted to do that sort of work. You know, just to add to the feature list, I guess, but then it'd up the price. For $30, you're getting a device. It works, it does the job it's intended for, it's advertised for. It will output 3 amps at 5 volt continuously. It runs on these quite happily, even the smaller 1.3, 1.4 amp batteries. But even on this one here, I should be able to, as I said, charge my phone probably 5.5 times. I mean, 6 might be pushing it with the conversion losses, but running in buck mode, buck mode, it is a bit more efficient to drop a voltage than it is to boost a voltage. So if you do your conversion, because with USB stuff, your batteries in, say, your mobile phone are 3.6 volt, 3.7 volt. They charge up to 4. They're usually rated at, in most mobile phones, about roughly 3 amp hours. This is 18 volt at, in this case, 4 amp hours, even though the newer ones are higher. Pretty much the way to work this out, I mean, if you take the battery out of your phone, if it can do that, look at the watt hours, and do say a 10 to 15% loss on that for the conversion, and that'll give you an idea on how much charge you can get out of a fully charged one of these. Or you can work it out basically. 5 goes into this 3 point a little bit times, so you drop your amp hour, so you up your amp hour rating by that 3 point whatever times. I'll say 3 times just to take in the loss factors. So 4 becomes 12 amp hour at 5 volt, which means you should be able to pretty much charge most USB powered devices, including something like this, at least a couple of cycles each, and it'll do that quite happily. I like the fact that it doesn't continuously run, and I also like the fact that it has auto cutoff after a certain amount of time. I just wish that they'd include a indicator. I mean, just a small LED, even a small green LED that just shines through either through the button, or out the USB port, just to say that the buck conversion circuitry is active. Even just one of these little LEDs in here, just on here, just across one of the USB ports, just to let you know that it's still running, and to go from there. Because the power indicators on these batteries don't light up unless you press this button here or they're charging. So yeah, so you've got no way to know this is on. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.